welcome to Polish with Ray. I'm Rachel and today I'm going to be sharing with you a brand new collection from Bee's Knees Lacquer. This is the For No Mortal Creature collection, which is an official collaboration with author Kusha Chow. This collection is going to be available for pre-order on October 17th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and there is a 500 bottle cap for each polish. We have lots of variety with this collection. There's reflective glitters, magnetic shades, including some new Mosaic magnetics. There's linear holographic and opaque shifting shimmers too. The overall feel of this collection is like dark, gothic, like the color story feels a little bit more intense, a little more serious, which I think is perfect transitioning fall into the winter season. Returning to the Bee's Knees Lacquer site on the 17th will be Overpours from the All Hour Rage collection. I'll have some additional details regarding this launch down in the description box, so be sure to check that out. I also wanted to add that I did not include comparisons for this video. You all have seemed to enjoy me posting my comparisons separately. I also post them over on Instagram if you're not following me there too. I'll link my handle down below, but if you have requests for comparisons, if I have the polish that you're requesting, I'd be happy to post comparisons for them. So feel free to ask. All right, we have 12 beautiful polishes to look at today, so let's go ahead and get into the swatches. We'll start off with the shifting shimmers first, beginning with Always, Now, and Forever. This one's described as being a deep burgundy with glowy golden shimmer. This one had great buildable coverage. You can see it's a little sheer on the first coat, but it does build up to full opacity in just a couple coats. I was so excited with the opacity of these shifting shimmers. Super long nails may need to go in for a third coat for the shade, but I do think most people will be good in 2 coats. So here are 2 coats with a glossy top coat and some studio lighting. Unfortunately, the sun wasn't out when I swatched most of these, so I had to adjust. But you can see that golden shimmer has a really strong shift to green and even like a slight shift to blue at certain angles. And it's the kind of shimmer that's super shiny. It almost feels like a little bit metallic on the nails. It does also feel like a larger particle shimmer. And then here's what it looks like, 2 coats with a glossy top coat outside and some overcast lighting. So some indirect lighting here. And yeah, it almost has like a multi-chrome feel. It's so interesting too that the base is described as a burgundy, because before reading this description, I felt like I would have described it as being like kind of caramelly. But that might just be because I'm craving like some fall treats or something. And then here is what it looks like inside near a window, so also natural lighting. And next we have Forest of 1,000 Hearts. This one's described as having a deep forest green base with glowy green to blue shimmer. This one had a great formula as well, a little bit more opaque on the first coat and definitely fully opaque in 2. Again, if your nails are very, very, very long, maybe you would have a little visible nail line in 2 coats, but I really don't think so. Like, I think it's a solid 2-coater for everyone. This shade is beautiful, y'all. It didn't end up in my favorites, but in hindsight, I'm like, man, maybe I should have put it there. I think I didn't put it there because it's not a polish I would typically gravitate towards. But that being said, that almost makes me like it more because it resonated with me so much. You can see it's got such a vibrant shift to like aqua and then almost cobalt blue, and that green shift against the teal base. Something about the teal base is so like subdued and muted. It's a little bit broody in a way, and I think that's really interesting given the vibrance of the shimmer. Like, the shimmer is so bright and uplifting and aquatic, and then the base color is a little bit more somber, like a little more serious. Up next, we have the Abyss. This one's described as having a black base with purple to red shimmer. This one was also very opaque. I love getting to say that for so many of these. Really smooth, even coverage as well. So if you wanted to layer it to deepen up the base color, you certainly could. 2 coats gave me full opacity. This is another one I think everyone would get this fully opaque in 2 coats. However, sometimes I feel like the base of this one doesn't look like super black. It kind of does here, but you could always layer it over a black cream if you wanted to deepen the base color. So this is 2 coats with a glossy top coat. Another shade I would have never gravitated towards on my own, but it's such a chameleon. Watch this. Whoa. It just completely transforms, and it's just described as shifting from purple to red, but I feel like there's like a pinky shift in there and like a little shift to gold around the cuticles, and it's just a really unique shade. Another one I think that's perfect for like late fall, chilly, cloudy, dreary November. Just really pretty. Yeah, here in this natural lighting, look at those shifts. You get like a copper shift, a little bit of a gold shift. It's just a very dynamic shade. Next up, we have Little Demon. This one's described as having a raspberry base with red to green shimmer and subtle hollow. This one had a fantastic formula. For me, it was fully opaque in 2 coats. I do think though, if your nails are longer, you'll probably prefer this in 3 just because it has that squishy jelly base, and I think you'll have a little bit of visible nail line in 2 coats. It builds up beautifully in 2 though, like that rich, juicy raspberry color that you see in the bottle, you totally get that in 2 coats. Very even as well. So this is 2 coats with a glossy top coat. Y'all, when I got to swatch Twine Your Life around people you love, I said, if I can get this from Bee's Knees in a bright pink base, I don't know if I can handle it. And y'all, I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. This is such a showstopper. It is incredibly beautiful. I just wish I could have gotten to show it off in the sun. I know it's going to like knock my socks off when I take it out into sunlight. The way that hollow and shimmer just like melt into each other and melt into the base, it is so glowy and vibrant and just left me like wanting more. I did not want to take this off my nails. It is completely beautiful. Moving on to some flaky finish polishes. This one is called Death Clings to You Like a Mantle. This one is a grungy gold with blue to red flakes and a scattering of hollow. This one had a great formula. It's definitely squishy, juicy, jelly base, and it is one of the more sheer shades out of this collection. So in 3 coats, I did have a significant amount of visible nail line. If that's not something you like, you could always pair it with a blurring base coat or like a kind of orangey yellow cream. I think that would be really beautiful. But yeah, I think most people will have visible nail line with this in 3 coats. So this is 3 coats with a glossy top coat. Really interesting polish. The yellow gold tone I think is perfect for late autumn. The shifting blue red flakies are a nice touch as well. I felt like sometimes I saw a little bit of purple in there, and it said there was just a little bit of hollow, but I feel like there was lots of hollow in here, a generous amount of hollow. It was very sparkly in bright lighting especially. And then here's what it looks like in 3 coats of the glossy top coat in some natural lighting outside on an overcast day. And And then this is what it looks like inside, natural lighting near a window. Up next, we have What is Dead Can Die Again. This is a black crelly with glowing flakes that shift from blackened purple to red. Lots of purple to red in this collection, I'm noticing. This one also had a really squishy, juicy jelly base. I thought on that first coat that it would be really sheer in 3 coats, but I had pretty great coverage in 3. I still had a little bit of visible nail line, so if your nails are quite long, then I imagine you will see your nail line. I wish I would have layered this over black, I'm just now thinking. It would have made those flakies pop a little bit more, but I kind of love the squishiness of this base. So this is 3 coats with a glossy top coat. Don't they look like little burning embers? Especially with that glossy top coat, it just has such a beautiful jelly finish. I also feel like there are way more shifts in those flakies than described, like red, copper, gold, and then maybe some purple. I didn't notice a whole lot of purple, actually. And next we have the Lake of Forgetfulness. This one's described as being a cyan to blue lemon cousin with the same silver light reflective glitter. Sorry, I'm reading the descriptions for the first time. I'm like, oh, okay. That's why I like this so much, because it's a lemon cousin. This one was beautiful, really sheer on that first coat, but built up nicely in 3. I did still have a considerable amount of visible nail line, but if you've tried any of the lemon siblings before, you kind of know how that goes. That glow conceals a good amount, and the reflective glitter also distracts from the nail line. I was curious to see how this would layer over black, so here you go. It's beautiful. I thought the base might be like a little bit cloudy, but no, it's just like the shimmer completely takes over, and then you get the added sparkle from the reflective glitter. So this is 3 coats with a glossy top coat in my studio lighting. That shimmer is magic. Oh, and this is what it looks like in 2 coats over like a light gray cream on my thumb. I was curious to see how that would look. That's my preferred way to wear it. Love it on its own too, but I just think with some kind of base to conceal a little bit of my staining, it is perfection. Yeah, I honestly, when I had this on my nails, didn't notice a ton of my visible nail line because the shimmer is just really strong. It's noticeable in brighter lighting, but in lower indirect lighting, you'll see this one kind of takes on a pastel multi-chrome kind of feel, and your nail line is not nearly as visible in indirect lighting. So here's a kind of look at that. You see how it has like a kind of, Caitlin Swatches would say, a ghostly feel to it. It's so remarkable. And we are moving on to the magnetics, some Mosaic magnetics in this collection. This first shade is called Salvation, and it is a violet base with a Mosaic magnetic that upon first glance looks like an ordinary pink multichrome. When magnetized, you'll see both a bright pink as well as a rich gold magnetic pigment. And it's recommended to use water-based top coat with this shade. However, I did not. in my swatches. So this one's beautiful, great application, smooth, easy to work with formula, pretty opaque in 2 coats. If you wanted to leave this unmagnetized, definitely opaque in 2. And I'm going to show you what it looks like cat eye effect here, because these did have a little bit of visible nail line with the cat eye effect, but not with the velvet effect. And I just wanted to make sure you saw that. So it reveals this like dark, broody purple base, and then the Mosaic magnetic. I cannot help but smile looking at this polish right now. Gosh, that magnetic pigment is gorgeous. It's like this bright punchy pink. It shifts to gold, and it's another shade that is just wow. It is a shapeshifter. It just, depending on the angle, the lighting, it looks like an entirely different polish. And that is what I love about the Mosaic Magnetics from Bee's Knees Lacquer. Like, look at that. You get so many different shifts in one polish, like a purple, a pink, a peach, a gold, a green, and against that like dark purple base, it's so pretty. The maker left a little note about Mosaic Magnetics. If you're not familiar with that finish from Bee's Knees Lacquer, they say that they call them that because they are a new type of magnetic that features 2 different types of multichrome magnetic pigments. So regardless of which style of magnetizing you use, each nail is going to look a little different. Up next, we have Resurrection. This one is a Steely blue mosaic magnetic polish that upon first glance looks like an ordinary purple multichrome, but when you magnetize, you see both a rich purple and deep blue magnetic pigment. Another fabulous formula here. This collection across the board was really wonderful to apply. It was pretty opaque in 2 coats, but I think unmagnetized even, I would go in for this one at 3 coats. Velvet effect, you could probably leave it at 2, but I opted for 3 across the board. So this is 3 coats with a cat eye. Again, there's some visible nail line if you use that technique. There was for me anyway. So this is 3 coats with a glossy top coat. Always for my magnetic swatches, my middle and ring finger, I use a horseshoe magnet to show the velvet effect. Pointer and pinky, I use a bar magnet to show the cat eye effect, and my thumb is unmagnetized here. My preferred way to wear all of the magnetics in this video is the velvet effect. And that's what Bee's Knees Lacquer's maker, Sarah, said she also prefers for the Mosaic Magnetics, because that shift, those pigments kind of dueling it out are so obvious all the time when you have it velvetized. It's just gorgeous. You get faster opacity using the velvet technique. You get a stronger punch from the magnetic pigment. It's just my opinion. As long as there aren't flakies in the magnetic polishes or glitters, I love velvetizing them. Yeah, this one was stunning. It's got that warmer purple, cooler purple, and then like a blue going on, and then the base of it looks like a black kind of charcoaly color. Really, really pretty. The last Mosaic magnetic in this release is Sacrifice, and it is a deep turquoise with a Mosaic magnetic that first looks like an ordinary green multichrome, but when magnetized you get a bright green as well as a powder blue magnetic pigment. This one also had a beautiful formula. Again, if you use a bar magnet, if you do the cat eye effect, I would recommend 3 coats for it. But if you use the velvet effect, you could probably get away with 2 if you felt like it. I think I'd always opt for 3, but you could leave it at 2 and get pretty good opacity. So this is what this one looks like, built up in 3 coats with the cat eye effect. Again, there is some visible nail line there, and the base color is like this gorgeous deep blackened turquoise. So here is Sacrifice in 3 coats with a glossy top coat. Again, middle and ring finger are with a horseshoe magnet, pointer and pinky are showing the cat eye effect, and my thumb is unmagnetized. This one shocked me. I am not typically a fan of this kind of base color. These darker teals just like aren't for me. But man, that magnetic pigment, the green, the powder blue, the aqua, it was just so unexpected. Like that light, bright blue. And I felt like the contrast between the magnetic pigment and the base was extra punchy in this one. Fortunately, we did have a little bit of sunshine when I swatched this particular shade and a few others, so I will add that as I had it. But isn't this just remarkable? When that magnetic pigment hits the sunshine, it takes my breath away. And then we're going to finish up with 2 reflective magnetics. So these are not Mosaic magnetics. This first one's called the Ultimate Weapon, and it is a dark turquoise with glowing blue magnetic shimmer and blue light reflective glitter. This one had a beautiful formula, very opaque on that first coat. I still would recommend 3 coats for the bar magnet just to make sure it's completely even and there's no patchiness once you magnetize. Even with the velvet effect, I probably would opt for 3 coats, but if you choose to not magnetize this, which I think you should magnetize it, but if you decide not to, it was fully opaque in just a couple coats. So this is 3 coats, magnetized with a bar magnet. That visible nail line is there, but it really isn't noticeable. So 3 coats shown here. I was really impressed with these last 2 shades. I felt like they had such a crisp magnetic line when I applied the bar magnet. I always hold my bar magnets on for about 30 seconds. That's how long I start giving in and being ready to move on after about 30 seconds. And I found that after 30 seconds, that crisp line held for a little bit. I didn't have these on for a super long time, but I just noticed it felt especially crisp with this shade. So I did want to share that. This, I did add a glossy top coat and no glitter smoother, and I wish I would have added a glitter smoother. It's not packed with reflective glitter, but that just exaggerates like the squishiness of that jelly base, and I think it looks better with one. Again, these stun in the sunlight. All of Bee's Knees Lacquer's magnetic pigment is super shiny, and when it hits bright lighting, it's like it almost like blinds you for a moment. It's so shiny and reflective. And then the final shade I have to share with you in this collection is Shadowside. This one is a black-based polish with glowy purple magnetic shimmer and silver light reflective glitter. This one also had a beautiful formula, really squishy jelly base that was smooth and even on application. I would say unmagnetized, this is good in 2 coats, but if you choose to magnetize it, definitely 3 coats for the bar magnet, maybe only 2 coats for the velvet effect. It's up to you. This one took me by surprise. It has a black base. It's a squishy black base, so you do have a little bit of visible nail line with this in 3 coats. But my goodness, another showstopper. The way that like indigo, purpley, blurpley pigment just snaps to the magnet. Again, it was very reactive, quick to pull to the magnet, and I felt like the magnetic line was extra crisp with this one. Was so satisfying. I love the contrast between that purpley magnetic pigment and the black base, and then the silver reflective glitter just reminded me of a night sky. It was so vampy and just, oh, it just made me feel things in my heart. Here is what it looks like in some sunlight. Really stunning. Every time that magnetic pigment hits the light, it's just incredibly vibrant. And the reflective glitter looks especially beautiful in the sun. So that was Beastney Lacquer's new For No Mortal Creature collection. Let me know all your thoughts in the comments. Which of these were your favorite? Did you like the overall vibe? Were you feeling the color story? I want to know it all. Like I mentioned in the intro, I was really pleased with this collection. Initially, when I saw so many were magnetics, I was a little bit like, ugh. I've just been swatching so many of them lately that I don't really find myself wanting to wear them, wanting to swatch them anymore. But these were done really, really well. They are beautiful, beautiful magnetics. And the other shades, I was really pleased. There was so much opacity with the shift in the shimmers, and I really liked the color story. It felt like true Beastney's lacquer polishes, like with the unusual bases, the intense glowy shimmer. It was all around a beautiful collection. And I have not read this book, but based on the cover, I feel like it definitely fits the theme, fits the vibe, and I might have to check out the book. You'll have to let me know if you've read it. I know it released on October 7th. But favorites, I had 3, and I kind of had a hard time choosing favorites because there were actually quite a few in this collection that I really, really liked, but there were 3 that I just loved. I had to look at it like, if I didn't get this collection in PR, which ones would I have to purchase? And there were 3 obvious choices. The first one was a magnetic reflective. Yeah, I'm surprised too. It was Shadowside. Just something about that super dark base and that purpley blue magnetic pigment, the sparkle and pop of those reflective glitters just was giving like gorgeous vampy night sky, and I loved it on my nails. I also am kind of like obsessed with Little Demon. As soon as I put this one on, it was game over. I was really regretting not putting it on as a full manicure and wearing it, and I'm gonna add it to my fall rack. If I don't get around to it this fall, I'm adding it to my winter rack. I loved this shade. If you like any of the polishes that are in this finish, twine your life around people you love. There was a gorgeous purple I swatched a few months ago. You're gonna love this one. The shimmer is beautiful. It's so fine and glowy, and the holographic is stunning, and it's just so pigmented. And then one that kind of surprised me was the Lake of Forgetfulness. That was the one with the sheer base with the silver reflective glitter and like the blue to green, blue to purple shifting shimmer. I knew this would be sheer. I didn't think I would like that, but over like a gray cream, like how I showed it on my thumb, oh, I loved it. Like this is perfect. Perfect for the winter season. It just felt so icy and chilly. It was beautiful. But let me know your favorites down in the comments. Do you plan to grab any of these? Hopefully you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!